No, I didn't have them do it. Oh, gosh. What the devil? Oh, this thing is on and it's giving me crazy eyes and faces. Okay, sorry, y'all. That was funny. You remember that one we looked at with the mustache? Yeah. It just gave me a mustache. Hello. Welcome. It's Move to Millions Monday. I'm excited to be with you all. We are queuing up our Clubhouse and our Facebook, and shout out to all of you who've already joined us on Instagram. It is Monday again. Can y'all believe it? What are we learning today? Well, let me tell y'all what we're talking about today. Today, we're going to be talking about your end of year checklist and what you need to be doing to get ready for the new year. It is December the 6th, I think. Today is December the 6th. And we got about 25 days left in this year. And we're going to be talking today about some of the things you need to be doing in preparation for the new year. So this conversation is powered by Leverage and Scale Enrollment Events. Last Thursday, I hosted Profit from Live Events, 7 keys to make more in 3 days or less than most make in a year. If you missed that training, you can go to profitfromliveevents.com. profitfromliveevents.com. You can watch that powerful training and learn all about the Leverage and Scale Enrollment Events course. Enrollment in our course is open until Thursday, December the 9th at midnight Eastern Standard Time. Now today, I'm going to help you guys to the game on what you need to be doing in preparation for 2022. Well, I'm going to share some of the things with you. And I am going to offer you, if you enroll in Leverage and Scale Enrollment Events, if you enroll in that course, then I'm going to actually give you the end of year checklist that I created for myself and for my clients. For those of you who can see me, and I can't really see y'all because, that's not how it works. But here is my checklist. You can see we already have some things checked off. It's 2 pages, front and back, of all the things that you need to do to be ready for the new year. And so that is my gift to you when you join us for Leverage and Scale Enrollment Events by December the 9th at midnight Eastern Standard Time. But today, I just want to help you guys get ready for the new year, because guess what? It's 25 days. It's going to be here. I hope that you are experiencing some, what's the word I want to use? Like you're seeing some momentum in your businesses right now, because the fourth quarter is the most profitable quarter in the year. So if you haven't, let's jump into some of the components of the end of year checklist. If you have not already gone back to every single client that you've talked to this year and had a second conversation with them, you want to do that in the remaining 25 days. Let me sidebar and say this. Do not shut down at Christmas. Have Christmas. Have the day after Christmas if you want. But make sure that between the 27th and the 30th or 31st of this year, you are actually interacting with prospective clients and leads that are coming into your business. Your ability to generate leads should never turn off. Every single day of the week, you should have the ability to get a new lead in your company. That should be happening. That shouldn't change just because we're going into the Christmas season. What you want to make sure that you are cognizant of is that between Christmas and New Year's, there are a whole host of people that are trying to figure out how to finalize their year financially. There's a whole host of people who have the problem you solve, that haven't yet invested in the solution, that after talking to their financial management people, their accountant, their bookkeeper, their CPA, their tax strategist, realize that they need to spend some more money in order to offset their tax liability. If you go on vacation and you're not available between Christmas and New Year's, you're leaving money on the table. I don't want that to happen to you. So that's why I'm telling you, that's one of the things that needs to be on your end of year checklist. So if you're just joining us, we're excited you are here. Hello. Excited to have you. Happy Move to Millions Monday. Today we are talking about your end of year checklist. This conversation is powered by Leverage and Scale Enrollment Events, our brand new course on how to host enrollment events that will show you how to make more in 3 days or less than most people make in a year. The course is thebomb.com. I put my foot in it. If you've ever heard that saying, right? I've put my foot all the way in the course. And so that is what we are focused on, making sure that you are aware of. Last Thursday, December the 2nd, I held our preview training, Profit from Live Events. Our cart to enroll in the course is open through Thursday, December the 9th. And if you decide to join us in Leverage and Scale Enrollment Events, I'm going to give you my end of year checklist. Let me just tell you, this checklist, my team and I have been working through it. It is the difference between ending this year feeling like you could have done a little bit more and ending this year knowing that you didn't leave anything on the field, on the table, that you did everything that you should have done in order to be able to serve deeply, impact massively, and increase the income that you receive to your business's bottom line. If that is important to you, I'd love to give you this checklist. I literally created it first and foremost for myself. We have a new operations manager here on our team. And all in the fourth quarter of every year, we are tightening what we've been doing all year and being proactive to what we'll need to do in the new year inside of the business. And so I was creating my own checklist, and then I got the bright idea, hello, why not create this for our clients? And so we shared this with our clients a couple of weeks ago. So shout out to our Incredible Factor University clients who may be here. They already have a copy of our end of the year checklist. I would love to give you one, and I will give you one when you join us at Leverage and Scale Enrollment Events. If you enroll in our course, I'll give you this as a bonus, so you'll know what you need to be doing for the next 25 or so days to impact your 2021 as massively as possible and set yourself on a trajectory to shift and change the way your 2022 gets off and ends up happening for you next year. And the cool thing about this checklist is it becomes a rinse and repeat for you, because you'll be able to pull it out as you come into the fourth quarter of every single year and leverage it in order to be able to make the right adjustments, modifications, changes, tighten up everything that needs to be tightened up, do that one last swoop of the people who are your prospects that have expressed an interest in working with you that never pulled the trigger to enroll, and make sure that you do not lose anything. Dr. Ramon he's here. He literally just enrolled last week, and he said the course has so much value, and he ain't never lied. This course, I'm telling you, y'all, there is nothing like it in the marketplace. If you do or intend to do live events, and a live event is a live event where you and people are in proximity to each other. It's also a virtual event or a hybrid event where you have some people live and some people virtual. If you're doing any of the above, you need to know how to do these events so that you can massively increase your payday. You will learn how to do 6+ figures or more every time you do an event. We have held, I don't even know how many events we've done now. We've been doing events since 2009. We've been doing events profitably since 2011. And outside of that very first event that we did in 2011, every event has generated at least 6 figures. And several have generated 7 figures. So we're talking about the end of year checklist, but if you would like to get your copy of it, because I'm only going to talk about a few things with you here today in the essence of time. If you'd like to get a copy of it, then go and grab Leverage and Scale Enrollment Events. You can go right now to profitfromliveevents.com, profitfromliveevents.com. All right. So we're talking about the end of the year. Now, again, I believe that the fourth quarter is the most profitable quarter in any year. And it's the most profitable quarter for many reasons. Number one, this is probably the most important, is that people are getting to the end of the year. They haven't achieved their goals and objectives. They are feeling a little resentful, a little, mad at themselves and whatever the other words might be. And they are deciding that the new year, it's not going to be the same thing. And so right now, they are looking for the solution that they will get into in the new year. If you are not present, if you are not showing up, if you are not marketing and generating leads for your business, you will miss out on being a possible solution to the problem that they've been unsuccessful at solving on their own. That's happening right now. That's why this is the most profitable quarter. The second reason why it's the most profitable quarter is because a lot of people get to the end of the year and wait to see how they've done tax-wise to determine the additional money they should spend to offset their tax liability. Guess when they make that decision to do it? This month, in the month of December. I cannot tell you, I can't count on my fingers and my toes the number of times I have done some outreach to previous clients, prospective clients, and people who have expressed an interest. We call this low-hanging fruit, and working with us in some capacity, and watch them enroll in our programs or put down a deposit for work that is going to be done in the new year. Because they aren't looking to get into anything new in December, but they want to know when they cross over to January 1, they know exactly what they're doing to move their business forward. That's what they want to know. And that's what they're doing, right? And they want the additional tax write-off. Most of as service-based entrepreneurs, small business owners, and CEOs, most of the work that we do, the services that we provide, are tax deductible in some way. Now, I'm not an accountant. I don't play one on TV. Check with your tax provider, but I know that what I am telling you is legit. That it is likely that the investments that you might make right now, especially if we're talking about personal development, business development is personal development. All of those things have a tax write-off ability along with them. So not only will they get themselves enrolled in your program, one win, they will get a tax saving, second win, to create a win-win-win, which is really, really powerful. It's the second reason why I think right now is the most profitable quarter in any year. The third reason why I think this is the most profitable quarter in any year is because as people are evaluating what they've done all year and what they want to do differently in the new year, they're looking for what they're going to get themselves into. Like, I literally just a week, 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, enrolled in a program and paid in full for said program. Not with the intention to necessarily do work today, but to set my business on the trajectory of what I want based on this particular solution that the person that I hired is able to provide to me. So for all of those reasons, if you are not actively following up with prospects, generating new leads, and working those leads right now, not telling yourself that it's the holiday. Yeah, Christmas is yet but one day, just so we're clear, right? And I think Christmas is on the weekend this year. I'm not sure. I'm not looking at the calendar, but I feel like it might be. But it's yet just one day. The rest of the days, people are working, they are looking for solutions, and they're wanting support to solve their biggest problems. And you, incredible one, are the solution to those problems, and I don't want you to miss out on them. So that's the reason why we created the end of the year checklist, because we wanted you to make sure that you were not leaving any stone unturned and making your business the best and positioning yourself for the next year to be even better than the year you just finished. I'm not sure what your year has been like, but I know at Incredible One Enterprises, this has been one of our most profitable years in a very long time. And it has also been one of the years with such grace and ease that we have gotten to this point. A lot of that stems from having SOPs or standard operating procedures in place and taking the time to work on them consistently. That's what this end of year checklist is really all about. So I'm going to walk through a few of the items, some of my favorites. Let me tell you how many items are on this checklist. So I'm going to count 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 25. There's 25 days left in this year, and gosh darn it, there are 25 items on our end of year checklist. You could literally work on one a day and make sure that you go into 2022 confident and ready to serve at the greatest of levels. And I would love to send you this, and I will as soon as you join us in Leverage and Scale Enrollment events. Okay, so let me just pick a few items to share with you. I'm going to share, there's 25 on the list. I'll share 5 with you. So I'll give you 1/5 of what's in the checklist. These things are going to help you. So number 1, you want to make sure that you complete a SWOT analysis on your business in 2021. Just in case you don't know what a SWOT analysis is, let me break that down for you. SWOT is an acronym that stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths and weaknesses are internal to you. Opportunities and threats are external to you. Now, taking the time to evaluate your business in this way is going to give you a very clear indication of what you've done well, what you could do better, and what you actually want to do in the new year. This is essential. This is actually the first thing on the checklist, because if you don't know where you've been, how are you going to know where you're going? If you don't know what holes and gaps exist in the way that you're running your company today, how are you going to get your company to the pinnacle? It's not going to happen unless you stop and evaluate, right? I remember when I worked in corporate America, I used to work for a company called MB&A America. And on the walls of MB&A, they had quotes all over the place, right? One of the quotes that just rang in my head was, what gets attended to gets done. Checklist. Hello. It's the way to make sure that you actually set yourself and your business up to do it the best possible service. That's what it's really all about, right? So your SWOT analysis is going to give you an opportunity to evaluate what has happened in your business. Strengths. What do you do better than anybody else does? Right? So SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths. What do you do better? What do you do extremely well in your company? What are people constantly celebrating you for, right? What accolades are you receiving over what you've done inside of your business? That's your strengths. You want to evaluate the strengths of every program you offer. You want to evaluate the strengths of your sales funnels. You want to evaluate the strengths of your lead magnets. You want to evaluate the strengths of your nurture sequence. You want to evaluate the strengths of your offer suite. You want to evaluate the strengths of every single thing, your team. All of the people who are helping you do what it is that you do, you want to evaluate those strengths. The W stands for weakness. What are the biggest gaps or holes that exist in your business's infrastructure? Those are your weaknesses. What are you not doing well? How many times has something fallen through the cracks this year that have impacted your ability to earn or keep a client? Those are your weaknesses. You want to ask yourself questions about evaluating your weaknesses. The O stands for opportunity. Opportunities are those things external to you that if you could really find a way to bring them internal to your business could make a huge difference for your business, right? Opportunities are, what are those things that might come down the pike in the next year that if you were prepared for them, they could propel you and your business forward? Opportunities, right? And then threats. What are the things that are threatening to derail your company's ability to successfully get to the goals and objectives that you set for yourself, right? So as an example, let me think of a threat. Okay, we'll make it about this, which is why this is another reason why you need to get leverage and scale enrollment events. So let's say COVID-19, these new strains that are in other countries, they make it into the U.S. And in making it into the U.S., they being the CDC and the government decide that people cannot gather together in any numbers larger than 10. Y'all remember when that was the rubric last year when we couldn't get together more than 10 people at a time, right? If that threat happens, how will your company get past it? So for instance, we're planning a live event in May 25th through the 27th. So mark it down, save the date. In the event that happened, because I already have a process in place that is included inside of leverage and scale enrollment events, we would be able to pivot our event back to a virtual event and still have a 6 or 7 figure payday. That's how we look at threats. We want to look at the threats to see how we can turn those threats into opportunities that can enhance our strengths and allow us to grow our company. That's the first thing on our end of the year checklist, is doing a SWOT analysis on your operations, your programs, your systems, and your team in the current year as a preparatory thing for the new year. All right, number 2, this one is so important as well. You want to make sure that you meet with your certified public accountant. If you are in business and you are doing your own business taxes on TurboTax, shame on you. You are not only leaving money on the table, but you are you're creating the possibility that you could do something wrong. And if you're ever audited, now you're going to be the one who has to identify it. Now, honestly, at this point, this week, worst case scenario, this week, you need to be meeting with your CPA so that you can find out where you are year to date. And that's going to assume that you've been getting your profit and loss statements done all year. It's going to assume that you've been keeping in their, you've been sending to them your bookkeeping so that they can give you an idea of where you are year to date. You need to know that ASAP so that you can do another item, number 3 on the checklist. You can see where you can front load some of the expenses that you know you will have in the new year, how you can pay for them now. So let's just say when you meet with your accountant, right now, your taxable income is $200,000 for next year, for 2021. And let's say that your legal entity is going to determine what this means, right? So let's say it's $200,000. And let's say that you are a C Corp. C Corps this year, I think, are paying 28% taxes, or maybe it's 21%. Anyway, you're going to take that $200,000, 20 to 28% of that is what you're going to pay in taxes, unless you can get your taxable income down. So there might be $60,000 worth of things that you can invest in. It could be a program, but it could also be new equipment or materials for your business that you can invest in now that reduces your tax liability to $140,000, which reduces your taxable income to $140,000 and ultimately reduces the amount of taxes that you would pay if you're a C Corp, an S Corp, or hopefully you're not just a straight LLC. I hope that that's not who you are. Because if you are, all right, I think I stopped it. So that's 3 things from our list. So if you just joined us, let me do a quick recap of what we're doing today. Happy Monday, Move to Millions Monday. I am your host, Dr. Darnyelle Jervey Harmon. Today we are talking about the end of year checklist. We're talking about things you need to be doing now, this week, over the next days. There's 25 days left in this year. There's 25 items on this list. I am not reviewing the whole list with you. I'm sharing 5 of my favorites from the list, but I will happily give you a full copy of the list when you enroll in Leverage and Scale Enrollment Events. This Move to Millions Monday is powered by Leverage and Scale Enrollment Events. Last Thursday, December the 2nd, I held Profit from Live Events, a preview training where I downloaded the Leverage and Scale Enrollment Event framework and gave you 7 keys that'll help you to make more in 3 days or less than most entrepreneurs make in the year. Statistically, roughly 10.35% of all entrepreneurs actually make 6 figures every single year. I want to show you how to beat 89.65% of entrepreneurs and start making more in 3 days or less than most people make in a year. And I can do that with you in that course. If you go to profitfromliveevents.com, not only will you have an opportunity to watch the preview training from last Thursday, but you'll be able to enroll in the course. And if you enroll in the course, then I'm going to give you my handy dandy Move to Millions end of year checklist that I'm reading from right now. So far, we've talked about 3 items on the list. I'm going to share 2 more with you. Number 1, create a SWOT analysis on your current year's programs, systems, and your team. Number 2, meet with your CPA so that number 3, you can front load expenses that you'll have for your business in 2022 and pay for them in 2021. This is a strategy we leverage every single year to reduce our tax liability and allow us to pay less while also getting the materials that we're going to need on file for our clients and to run our business succinctly without any lags next year. Like we sell our planner, the Move to Millions planner, right? And so one of the things that we're going to do is evaluate if we need to order more of these so that next year we have plenty to be able to give to people who might need a planner to be able to evaluate and make sure that they're putting their business on a trajectory to millions. That's an example of one thing you might want to order more of. If you have books or workbooks or anything like that that you're using in your business that you know you can order more of. Those planners, we buy them in bulk. We typically buy them 100 at a time. It might behoove us to buy 500 based on where we are this year and where we ultimately want to get our tax liability down to. This is why you need to be meeting with your CPA or your financial management team ASAP this week. Sometimes this week you need to meet with them. All right, so let's see what else. I'm giving you 2 more. Let's look at some of the other things. Oh, this is good. This is really good. Okay, one of the things you need to do before the end of the year is you need to review and update your company's operating agreement. Do you guys even know what an operating agreement is? Let me tell you. Your operating agreement tells what is happening day to day in your business, but more specifically, it includes the directives of your business in the event that something happens to you as the primary operator. Let's say I'm not trying to make a casual covenant. I'm not trying to put anything on anybody, but let's say you go skiing because you like skiing. And while you're skiing, you think that you are, insert the name of the number one ski person in the United States, and you come down the slope and you do it wrong. And as a result, you break something major on your body. Let's just say that happens. Well, let's say that when that happens, you are the service provider for your company. You need to have clear directives of what happens to your company if you are no longer able to work. None of us know when any of that kind of stuff can happen. Do you have an operating agreement in place that has clear directives of what should occur should something like that happen? So that's something that I recommend that once it's created, you review at the end of every year. You need to make sure that whatever you say there is still true. Right? Maybe when you first got it created, you were the only employee in your company. And maybe now you've got 10 people working for you. What are the directives of what happens in the event that something happens to you? You need to know that. And so that's something else that's important on this end of year checklist. Ooh, this one is good too. There's so many that are good, y'all. Y'all need to get Leverage and Scale Enrollment event so I can just send you the whole thing so you'll know exactly what it is that you'll be doing. Okay, but let's go with the last one that we're going to share with you. The last one I want you to make sure that you do in preparation for the new year is I'm like waiting for the inspiration to jump off the page and tell me which one I should tell you because they're all really, really good. Oh, okay, let's go with this one. So the other thing I want you to do is I want you to audit your entire sales process. I want you to audit your entire sales process before the end of the year. Listen, no matter where you are and what has happened in your business this year, if you know that you could have sold more, I want you to put a 1 in the chat. Or for those of you who are on Clubhouse, you can raise your hand. If you know that no matter how much you've sold this year, you could sell more. I'm putting my hand up. So one of the things that I did that I highly encourage you to do is I performed a sales audit. I took a look at all the assets, everything we do, what we have to sell, what happens when we go to sell it, what happens if they don't sign. I looked at all of the things, y'all. And when I looked at all of the things, you know what I identified? I identified several distinct holes that are messing with my money because I could be selling more. I'm going to be completely transparent with you as I share this part of this particular tip. I just shared this with my team today. So we run our business by an application process. So you have to apply to work with us, and we do not accept everyone. We have gotten, for our programs this year, we've gotten approximately 500 applications. We have approved approximately 104 of those applications, I think. So that's like 400 people who applied that we didn't accept. Of those 104 that we accepted, we only had about 40 of them enroll through that process. So that means we have about 60 clients or 60 approved applicants that could have enrolled in our programs. If I take the average of what our 2 programs come out to and I times it by 60, that's like $1.5 million we left on the table. I'm being completely transparent with you. How would your business change if you had an extra $1.5 million? Right? So by performing our sales audit, I was able to identify where the biggest gaps were in our process so that as a team, we could put procedures in place that would prevent that from ever being our reality again. Next year, when we're talking about end of year checklists, I bet you we won't have 60 applicants that didn't sign up for our programs that we're leaving money on the table, right? And look, let me just keep it real with you, because I'm not perfect. My business isn't perfect. We do very, very well, but we're not perfect, right? And even we have left money on the table because we had a process that wasn't working as well as we probably intended for it to work. So if it's happening to me, I'm pretty sure it's happening to you. And this is why you need an end of year checklist and framework that you're utilizing in order to prevent that from being what your reality becomes inside of your business. Because that's not what I want for you. I want you to be able to make amazing money doing what it is that you love, because you are serving very deeply and solving problems that your clients have been unsuccessful at solving on their own. But that won't happen if you're not assessing your business. Like, okay, put a 2 in the chat if you've never assessed what was going well or what wasn't working in your business before. Put a 2 in the chat. If you're on Clubhouse, raise your hand. I'm just curious, no judgment, because there was certainly a point in time in my own business where I didn't. I just let the business happen to me. And when it was a new year, it was a new year, and I just started over, and I just hoped and prayed. And y'all know hoping and praying is not a strategy, but I just hoped and prayed that it would all work out. I've done it too. Let he who cast the first stone, whatever the saying is, I live in a glass house, so I'm casting no stones, no judgment, right? We all have an opportunity to be running our businesses more succinctly. Your inability to be clear about what needs to change in your sales process might not add up to $1.5 million. It might add up to $25,000. What kind of a difference would it make right now if you had an extra $25K in your bank accounts? The point is, it's all relative. I shared what ours is, and I didn't share our exact numbers, by the way, but they're not that different, just so we're clear. But I share that with you as an example that when I went through this process, I found holes too. And so that's what business is all about. And as the CEO of your own company, on the trajectory and wanting to move your business to millions, you're going to have to get clear about what it's actually going to take to get there. Now, you could grab a calculator and you could add it up, and that will give you some direction, but it will not give you a very clear indication of what it's actually going to take to get your business to the milestone that you desire. That is going to come through actually going through the process and working through something like the end of year checklist, which, one more time, I would love to give to you for free when you join us in Leverage and Scale Enrollment Events. You can go right now to Profit from Live Events. Well, maybe not right now because I'm still talking. Maybe wait until after Move to Millions Monday is over. But then you could go to profitfromliveevents.com. You can watch the preview training that I did. You can watch it on 1.5 or 2 times speed so that it moves a little bit faster, because it was about an hour and 45 minutes. But it's so good. And it will give you the keys and introduce you very well to the course that we created to help you to be able to add enrollment events to your business model into 2022. If you're going to be bringing people together, many of you are probably already planning to have a live event next year. You might as well profit from it, right? And who better to learn from than from someone who's generated $14 million over the last 10 years from live events? So there you have it. Let me give you the 5 on the end of year checklist again, and then we'll go to thoughts from the team, and then we'll open up for questions. Perform your SWOT analysis on your current year's operations, programs, systems, and team. Meet with your certified public accountant. Front load anything that you're going to need to run your business in the new year. Get it now so that it decreases your tax liability. What else did I say? Review and update your company's operating agreement, and do an audit on your sales process. Those are 5 items on our end of year checklist that I would love to share with you when you grab Leverage and Scale enrollment events. What is really important to me, and that I really want you to take away from this, is that business and growing your business, moving your business to and beyond the $1 million mark, it's intentional. It's not, oops, I made $1 million. Now, you can your way into a 6-figure business. You can absolutely get to the 6-figure mark by mistake. but you are not going to oops your way to seven figures. You need to be very intentional and strategic. The strategy that you employ, the sales infrastructure that you use, the systems that get put in place, and the support team that you develop all needs to be intentional if you have millions on your mind. That's what I know. After having run a seven-figure company for 7 years, that is exactly what it is that I know that is going to be required for you to get there. So even this list is just the tip of the iceberg of all of those 25 things that I have listed there so that you can end this year in the best possible way and set your 2022 up to be something absolutely incredible. So I want to thank you guys for allowing me to share that with you. We're going to get ready for questions. So if you have a question and you're joining us on any of the platforms, we are on Facebook inside of our Move to Millions Facebook group. We are on Instagram on my personal Instagram page, and we are on Clubhouse in the Move to Millions Club. In any of those places, if you have a question on Facebook or Instagram, put it in the chat, question, and then your question. On Instagram, you can use the question feature. On Clubhouse, raise your hand and we will invite you up to the stage. If you have a question, give me 1 minute and then I'm going to open the stage so that Fred can share. I just want to make sure that our speaker is on. Fred, anything you want to share with the people about their end of year checklist?
Yeah, I actually haven't seen the checklist, so maybe I'll just throw one out there that might be on there or might not. Maybe it's one we add, but I would take an audit of your team because everybody in the world is going to be on this new year, new me, and make sure we reassess that everybody has done the same things when it comes to core values, the mission, the brand. I know I have my personal missions and values, and they align with our spirituality, significance, confidence, integrity, transparency, community, love, wealth, disruption. I know this like the back of my hand because it's the company that I support and I stand for. So something to audit going into the year is to reassess, do you have your core values and your branding, your mission lined up? And is your entire team on board with that as you go into the new year?
That's really good. And that is on the end of the year checklist. So Fred, you done gave him 6. So y'all got 6 instead of 5. Y'all better thank Fred for that extra one that he added in there. That was really, really good. We want to take a few questions. If there are questions on any other platforms, definitely feel free to type your question in, or if you're on Clubhouse, raise your hand. I'm going to invite you to the stage, Winnie. So you can ask your question. Your mic is hot. So Winnie, welcome to the stage.
Hey. Thanks, Darnyelle, and Fred, and the entire team. Anyway, this was powerful. I just need clarity on one item, the operating agreement. Mm-hmm. So I'm an S Corp. So okay. I have what's called a standard operating procedure. Is that the same for the S Corp? Because I think the operating agreement is for the LLCs, right? And I'm not an LLC. So can you clarify?
Yeah, operating agreement. You should have one no matter what business entity you're in. It basically says if something happens to Winnie and Winnie can't run this company, what should happen to the company?
I see. Okay. That's the good. So that's not, okay, yeah, because that's different than the SOP.
Yes, absolutely. The SOP is how do we do the things that we need to do to run this company. But we're talking about something happens to you, right? You decide you meet some amazing man and you decide to just throw your whole life to the wind and move to Switzerland. You just decide that, Winnie, and then it's like, well, what we supposed to do over here? You need to have a procedure in place of what's going to happen once you've decided that you want to chase your new man around the Swiss Alps instead of working in your business every day.
Okay, all right. So I really understand that now. I just wanted to be clear because I know before when I was trying to do SOP and operating agreements before, I remember my attorney saying, well, you're not an LLC, but I'm glad the way you explain it, that it doesn't have to be, it's specifically designed for if, God forbid, I'm absent. Okay,
correct.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's a great question. A lot of people don't think about it. Like we're just showing up every single day where nothing's going to happen to us. We're invincible until something happens and we're like, oh, we don't know what to do now. Or worse, your team doesn't know what to do, especially if you are the service provider for your company, right? If you're the one who's serving the clients and something happens to you, what happens to all the clients? Are you still taking their money? Are they getting refunds? Have you already made a relationship with someone else who would take your clients over if something happened to you? All of these things need to be considered and thought about, because no day is promised for any of us. We all hope that when we lay down tonight, we will get up tomorrow. But for some people, it doesn't work that way. And so in the event that it does, as CEOs of people who run companies that often are responsible for the livelihood of other households, we need to think through those things and make sure that we have those clear directives in place. So that is the stipulation and the recommendation as it pertains to that. Do we have any other questions?
I just want to...
Go ahead, Winnie.
Thank you so much, Darnyelle. I wanted one more question on that.
Okay.
So when you mentioned that, I now understand what happened to an account that I was trying to, I don't like to use the word sell, but contract with, for them to give the money up front based on what you're suggesting. And when they asked me for, that's how that conversation came up with the attorney and the operating agreement. But you just even took it to the next level to really clarify why they asked me that. Because I'm seeing that the money I was asking them to pay up front, and they were asking me to give them how my business is structured. So like if they give me the money, where is that money? If God forbid something happens to me, they didn't really clearly make it that way for me to understand it. But now what you're saying, I think that might be the main reason why they were hesitant, because they weren't sure by giving me the money up front during COVID and something happened to me, who is the next in line. Makes sense. Thank you so much.
Yep, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. Like, that's one of the reasons why we do these Move to Millions Mondays every week, is because we want you guys to be thinking about the things that aren't just common knowledge that you might be needing to think about if you desire to be the CEO of a company that does $500,000, $1 million, 1.5, 10 million, whatever the numbers are. They're all relative, but making sure that you're actually running your business like a business and not running your business like a side hustle, right? And that's so easy to get caught up in that and have policies and procedures in place that are janky, that aren't really designed to serve you or your clients at the highest of levels. All of those things will will mess with your money. All of those things will. And we want to avoid that as much as possible so that you're showing up and building a business in excellence. Do we have any other questions? Any other questions from any of the platforms? Winnie, I'm just moving you back into the audience. Any other questions from any of the platforms? Thank you for that, Marion. Marion was saying, yes, good stuff. All right. So if we don't have any other questions, and we are going to prepare to call it a Move to Millions Monday. So every Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, a little asterisk next to that, because I'm going to keep it real with you. I could wake up one day and be like, there is no Move to Millions Monday today. But in general, every Monday, we will have some adjustments made as we move through the month of December, but we will be here next Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, simulcasting on Instagram, on Facebook and our Facebook group, and on Clubhouse, to share another topic that you need to be thinking about if you desire to make the move to millions, and to be opening you up to thinking like the CEO of your own company. Can't wait. Already excited, and can't wait to be back with you guys again next week. One last time, this room was powered by Leverage and Scale Enrollment Events. If you go to profitfromliveevents.com, you can watch the preview training, and you can grab the course. The course will be available until Thursday, December the 9th. There are so many cool bonuses that come along with the course, so I want you to go there and check them all out. And remember, if you enroll in the course, you will get a copy of my end of year checklist. I'm actually going to go and put it in the Facebook group that we set up for the enrollment events, enrollees. I'm just going to put it in that group. And as soon as you grab the course, it'll be waiting there for you so that you can make sure that you maximize the next 25 days inside of your business, to not leave any money on the table, and to be ready to have your best year yet, thinking fully like a CEO and serving and supporting your business at the highest of levels. Until next week, be better, be stronger, and more than anything, be incredible, because if you don't come from millions, millions ought to come from you. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.